Okay, we're in. All right. We are in like Flynn. Welcome to another episode. All you guys who watch all the time and are definitely always here, appreciate that. Who find and get what they need from here and are being awakened to hear and what we do here. The reason, I look at some of the recent um, videos we shared here, right? Definitely from the thing of being able to, we want to be able to see obscure and differences, right? Obscurity and nuances of picking up with your definitely with another aspect that's really needed. We're talking about revelation and gnosis. What's the difference? What's the subtle difference? Because they can be the same and sound the same, but we're going to get into the subtlety, and I had to do that too, coming out of Christian esoterica, which was everything was based on revelation knowledge. The group I was connected to, we didn't use the word gnosis. It was never used. Not once in the 20 years did I ever hear that used in our meetings, and I'm talking people that were connected from down under to other countries, to the States, to Europe, and it was called at that time a kingdom message. And a lot of them that were anchors to that came out of the church and revelation knowledge, who many have passed, were connected to that. But so what I was looking at was the differences, because it was obscure. So I really went in and asked AI, because I looked at, just within myself, looked at a few different people, even just Googled it, but then even AI'd it through my Google, which is, God, what is it called? It's not Siri, but I forgot what the name of it is. And I was like, this is not it. So I went to Chat GPT, and I was like, yeah, this one seems like the obscure but making a difference one, and it makes sense. So I even corrected myself on my initial experience. I said that I had in 1993 that woke me up. I had an experience that woke me up. We had huge experience, me and another brother, at his house, and I kind of in old videos had shared what happened. That forever night changed my mind in the presence and the visitation we had of light. Trying to put it in a name at that time was I just know it was very bright, and it was getting brighter and brighter. I would say it's angels, or I would say this or that. In trying to put a name on it through the religious concepts of what spirituality, religion at that time, because this broke us out of religion. So when I even hear that, I also know that light came and broke us out of the cell of exoteric, and what we would call at that time, it was going around in the 90s, was the religious mindset, or the spirit of religion. That was mentioned through that process, a religious spirit, right? And I started reading and feeling, but reading the scriptures in a light, and this is the canonized version, definitely a Christian, and stayed in Christian esoteric groups, established a group, headed a group when others had passed, helped another older gentleman with his group in another state as he was getting older, went there and was with him for a number of year and a half, but also established in a work in Washington, while upholding where we were at Modesto, California, for a number of years. Those elders all passed away that I was connection. That was my first inductory to something deeper when I left the church after being put out. But that night, and I would always say that night, from then on, man, revelation knowledge flows through me. And I'm not saying it didn't, but I believe this now. The more and more I get it, it's more and more we were activated in gnosis and didn't know it. But now I know the word And this makes sense. Even to the point of discernment was what I was looking for. Discernment is huge now. Because with all the stuff being tossed, we got even government officials, left, right, or whatever, telling us the truth, not denying it, actually showing us the truth and not denying it, right? Showing us the truth and not denying it, overwhelmingly, especially when people don't know and they're only on a certain level of politics and the left is wrong and the right is right, or vice versa, is, and with everything, and I went over the files already and all of this, to understand this is a time that you need discernment to be activated and really be precision with it. And that's something maybe in another one I'll get connected with too, was talking about that. About 2 years ago, I had these flurries of dreams, and the dreams were very much a place and state that everything in the dream was connected to chaos. In my dreams, people are running like, all over the streets. It seemed like an inner city, seemed like maybe New York, but it could be any bigger city, wherever bigger city that you may be near, or, just the inner city of a huge city. And every time in the dream, I'd watch these people chase people with knives and people running, screaming. It was just a lot of chaos, right? A lot of chaos. This door would appear, and as the door appeared, I walked through it, and this happened twice. And through that dream, the same scenario would happen, where a door would appear out of chaos twice. But in the third time I had it, something changed. I no longer piecing something else together with something I'm going to do real quickly. Actually got a line for a future show. Just hit me. That would be revelation or gnosis. That's a good measurement. But it is a knowing, but it is something that just clicked within me. Is I went into the space of the portal. And this time the portal, when I went in, was a place of unity, peaceful unity, oneness. And in this so-called city, which was like a city, there were people that were like doing like their profession or their skills, but they weren't in everybody's business. There was no chaos. They did not talk about each other. They did not do anything like this in this reality. And I started calling this reality because my dreams have went to this place ever since then. And I am going to do this presentation. I'll mention this. It was always a one unity. I would go to see somebody and it would be like, they wouldn't introduce me to a bunch of other people. And they'd even say, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be rude and talk to you, but I'm really focused on creating what I'm doing, this project I'm doing. And that's how everybody was. If it was a mechanic, a welder, a blacksmithman, these people were doing like their creativity in a oneness, and they didn't talk about Mr. Smith, didn't talk about Mr. Jones. It was in a oneness, unified reality with no chaos. And I kept going in here, and I kept visiting this place. And then after this one, the third one, I wasn't coming through it, a portal of chaos. I was going there immediately in my dream. I would just go there. I'd be in the unified construct or the unified field. And when I go in that unified field, after a while and meet these people, and it was that, then all of a sudden what would happen was I was teaching like a class. And there were students right there. Then all of a sudden we're in the class and I'm talking at chalkboard. And then all of a sudden I hear boom, bang, boom. And I go to the window and I go, what is that? A plane? A structure? So I said, let's all go out. So we went out and looked at it. And I go, this is not a plane. This is a structure. But then I looked around and go, there's no high buildings around here with structures. Just think about that. Just remember that. There's no physical structures in the where I was at that would have this height. Then I started telling them, and I even backed this up because I didn't, in the dream it was said, then I went and looked at this later, and I may even did a video of this by using what I'm going to say now, not telling the story. I may have told the story in a segment before, in the past. As I would say, first you hear, and I go here, then see. First you hear, then you see, and we look up, and I go, move 10 steps to your left. We'd all in unity go 10 steps. Where we left, another structure would fall and hit. I was to do this 5 or 6 more times, go forward 7 steps, another structure would fall. In this, I recognized this through the process of this was, first there was a unity within everybody that was there that was in that class. Nobody said, well, why do we have to? Which we would see on this level, right? Somebody would do that and not move, right? But everybody was in the unity, not the chaos. Like I said, I entered this place. Okay, whatever I said, go straight, go left, this many steps. This happened 4 to 5 times, okay? Then it hit me. Now I looked this up scientifically. You do hear, and then you see when you're dealing with the speed of light, higher frequencies and vibration, you're always going to hear before you see. I aligned this. And then just recently, and this was a while ago, this was, within the last 7, 8, 9 months, a year, less than a year, I talked about this. I did a video on going into hearing and seeing, actually scientifically. And then, which was kind of cool, it hit me the other day. Notice what you said. Sight, hearing, and seeing is what you were talking about. And then it hit me with the Book of Philip, and of course this is in the canonized version too. You have to have ears to hear and eyes to see. And I was wondering what that was in the past, and I went through 2 phases. I said, this is what we're seeing now out. The structures, the West, the structures are all falling. And I said how everything is just like crud of crud from every aspect of what we're seeing, right? Politics, movies, all this stuff. And it is. We were witnessing the structure and seeing it fall, and we were hearing it fall, then we would see it fall, and we were in a space to be able to take instructions, not necessarily always from somebody outside of you. This would be more within you. Anybody that knows this truth is not going to try to be the teacher of teachers, driving you that everything you need to do is you're equipped within. But this was also the structures within us have to fall too, because a lot of the structures that fell outside of us in this world and the world have to be dissolved, removed, or burn out of us, dissolved, because a lot of the structures or whatever, it could be the indoctrination, the ego, have to be dissolved, and the structure has to fall within us. Like Babylon has fallen, right? I can go to so many of these experiences that I had, and why I'm sharing these experiences, these would be revelations. Gnosis, there's quite a difference in Gnosis. Not very obscure, but big. So let's go ahead and get into this now. Let's go ahead and share the screen. See what we can do. Let me make sure that I put my layout the way I want it. Okay. Share the screen. And this is my chat GPT. Definitely. Right, this is my chat GPT. I went through some other things, actually, right? And if I can make this bigger, I may not need my glasses, but I can't make this bigger. So I might need, maybe not. Bring it a little bit closer to me without losing my light. Yeah, I can't expand this. So, they told me it's a beautiful question, meaningful given how deeply you walk the Gnostic's current. Gnosis from the Greek gnosis, direct knowing. Inner experiential knowledge. It is not learned, it is remembered. And this would be the difference of a very obscure difference is you're not learning something, you're remembering something you already know. And that's why really just the being before the being. The I'm going to bring something that's going to tie the being before the being, many of you might know, with the book of Philip, but also two scriptures in the book of Revelation that we'll share. But but this will be a future, if not next, video. I do want to share something else I want to share with you guys. I watched 3 movies this weekend. Sunday, Detached with Adrian Brody, and also I watched 13th Floor, and I watched Dark City, and I was like, whoa. You talk about knowledge and Gnostic movies with the understanding with this in it. But anyways, it's very interesting. I'm going to break down those movies too. That's another thing I got to add. I'm going to do. It is remembered. So this isn't learning something that you would say you don't know. Like you go to school and they teach you. That's not inner knowledge. Teach you something new. You learn a new language and you're like, oh man, I didn't know this. This is remembering who you are. The memory or the remembering. Remembering, putting yourself back together, putting your members back, right? The classical Gnosticism, especially texts like the Gospel of Thomas Pistis Sospia, Gnosis is awakening to your divine origin, hence you came from, the light within, the spark, the divine spark. That's why recognition is like an ignition to this oneness. The illusion of the lower constructs, right? The remembrance of the monad. Gnosis is not information, it is identity recognition. You're remembering your identity, who you really are. Not the false sense of self, not the illusions of different lives, not just the physical who you are with a first name. This is who you are before the being was before the being. That unity oneness before the being. This is really it. It's going to be an obscurity, but I've seen. The first thing gave me a big obscurity I didn't see before. Because I was still trying to look to figure this out myself. Since I was in a state of a lot of Christian esoterica in the past. I left it in 2013 because I was directed. And then, of course, I went deep into everything, every conspiracy, also into Eastern religions. I had already started meditation, so I know somewhat about a lot of different things, not trying to brag. I'm not an expert of everything, Hinduism, but I know every one of these Hinduism, Egypt, all have esoteric and exoteric within all that. The I Ching, Buddhism, there's exoteric and esoteric in that. All of them have that aspect of the truth, and then that which is given to the public, which is exoteric, the public. That's the masses. That's why they have the very first church for anybody's Catholic. This is the way it is. They call it mass because it's good enough for just the masses, but it's not the hidden knowledge of those in the club. And I shared many times how George Carlin says, you're not in the club. He was being honest. He knew what he was talking about. That you weren't in the club. So the monad, gnosis is not information recognition. It's when you don't believe you are the light, you know you are the light. And this is definitely, it is an inward, intimate, silent. It arises from consciousness itself. And also, when I see inward, intimate, silent, it also is gone through, you've had to be initiated to yourself to find the light of yourself. And that's a whole different thing we'll get into later. I'm just seeing that now. Definitely. Revelation means to unveil. It is something that becomes revealed either through a vision, a message, a scripture, a symbolic experience, through divine encounter. Revelation can feel like a download, a sudden insight, a dream that reveals truth, like I said, a pattern checking into place, pattern recognition. Revelation often feels like something shown to you. The subtle difference. Here's the simplest way to feel it. Revelation is when truth is unveiled. Gnosticism when you become the truth unveiled. Big difference. I believe that I had an activated gnosis now with revelation because they can go hand in hand. The foundation is Gnosticism, right? When truth is unveiled. And when you become the truth unveiled, it becomes you. You are the finding. You are, when you're seeking what you're going to find, when you find it, it is you. And that's why we even hear these texts. you keep what was it? It would say when you realize that what you're looking for is you. You know what? How's that quote go? A lot of people would use it, but this is when you realize it, and not and that. So outside of you, some or divine revelation or dream or this gnosis is becoming that which you are from the highest state of knowing, not just believing, not just there. Revelation is when truth is unveiled, and it could be any truth outside of you, inside of you. Revelation can come and go, but gnosis transforms your being, and this is what I know you have it. Even a bunch of us had it and didn't know it. And shout out to them. Revelation says see, gnosis says remember. I like that. One's the beginning. Revelation may spark an awakening. Gnosis is a state of awakening node. I love this. That's why I had to come here, is because I was looking for something. Everything that I looked for to find, it wasn't clicking with me. It's like, this is not obscure enough. They sound the same. And etymology, it's too much alike, too. It's very obscure. This was more, I could see the nuances of the difference here. In your path, Hermetic, Gnostic, alchemical view, revelation is like the lightning flash. Gnosis is the inner sun that remains. So like I said, revelations can come and be initiated. The gnosis is always you and always there. It remains. Revelation can initiate. Gnosis integrates. So this is when we say gnosis integrates. This is going into alchemy. Revelation can arrive through symbol, dream, Sophia memory. Gnosis dissolves the ego structure that interprets these symbols. Wow, and that's even deeper. Because I've noticed even like with a lot of stuff, especially with dreams, that a lot of the stuff is in a process that I wake up to what it means. It's not like, oh, I know it all. Like I'm saying, I had dreams 2 years ago, and a year and a half later I go, it makes more sense. It's coming clear. A lot of what I experienced 2 years ago in the late fall of 2024, no, might have been 23. Might have been 24. No, 23. Before 24. It's been a little over 2 years. Other revelations in the doorway through which gnosis enters. So it's the experience. It shows you. Revelation will unveil it to you. That's what the word, it means, unveiling that which is hidden, which occultic is. So when you practice occultism, it's because it's been, you've unveiled that which was hidden. Now you can go in and be practice your being, or that which is revealed, not hidden no more. And yes, other revelations, a doorway through which gnosis enters, but they are not identical. If you like, I can also explain how the distinction appears differently in early Gnosticism versus later mystical Christianity, or we can turn this into a poem. We will leave that there. Maybe it's not letting me write it there because this is in the way. Oh, it says I could hide this. Okay. Let's see how this distinction appears. Let's see. Show me the difference. The difference, distinction from Gnostic, Christian, mystical. Isn't a mystical a rapper? He was one guy. But anyways, here we go. I just want to see this to get this even more nuanced. Let's see if we get a more nuanced answer. I'll show you clearly and not poetically. You can see the structural difference. Early Gnostic Christianity and Christian mysticism. What is an early revelation, the secret teaching from the risen Christ, hidden knowledge given to prepared Paul, mythical cosmology explaining the fall, Sophia, the demiurge, and the archons, and unveiling how the false world operates. Revelation is awful esoteric, symbolic, given privately, yes, but revelation itself is not salvation. Got it. What is gnosis? The inner knowing. We kind of went over this already. Very, very good. Okay, let's go out of this if we can. Where is the hidden? Just go out of here. The hidden. Let's go into the stop share. So there we go into it, the depth of it. It is very obscure, and I was seeing the obscurity in a very deeper state and place, and then it really hit me. It's receiving something to see and know, and seeing it is the beginning, but experiencing it is always something that in the revelation that will come and go, and you'll get an incentive or initiate somehow, right? The book of Revelations, it's the veil showing you, within the veil showing you, the gnosis would be, you are that. You are the being. You are that which you seek. When you find what you seek, you are that what you seek. Yeah, I'm just kind of seeing that, and then kind of showing the obscurity. Very nuanced, but, and I have to admit, ChatGPT made it clearer than anywhere else I kind of looked into. Even in etymology, I was like, it's still not nuanced enough for me. It almost sounded the same. Now, not saying that both of them aren't revealing, but the gnosis is the inner knowing. It's really connected to the inner. The revelation could be the outside, a dream, a vision, which I've had. And the gnosis is when you know that you know. I had these dreams, these are visions, or this knowledge. And then when I really, gnosis helped me to understand. That's what it means. That's what it was. Especially I've had dreams, I'm like, what is this exactly telling me? Because back in this time when I had this, I experienced this time, I experienced visions and dreams heavily at the end of 24, as we went into 25, or 23, going into 24, as you know, with the vid and all that. It allowed me to really get stable in a place of, what would you call knowing? The knowing would be the gnosis. When I get a revelation, I go, oh, it's this scripture. It's something that's kind of outside of you that's being revealed that not everybody will see. But like I did, the experience of the gnosis is you become that, what you see. Where revelation, look what I see. I see it. It's unveiled. The gnosis is identifying it and knowing it and being, it's part of you. Knowing that you are the light, not just believing, or it's like, I see that, I'm getting a revelation. It's the interaction. And actually, when I look at the scripture of being, before the being, it activated my knowing to a state where a lot of stuff came forth in me that I'm getting ready to do some more videos on. I did share it on the last one with seeking and finding. The seeking and finding will go with some of the very next stuff I do. Leading us to a time and place that I'm going to do the 13 repentances of Sophia, showing this isn't traditional repentance. It has nothing to do. These are codes for you to ascend through what is being said and being taught in these repentances. It is a code. Like I said, it's a code of what's been said. And I'm going to break down the 13, which is the 13 levels. That's why I said I seen a movie called The 13th Floor. Wow. Heavy movie. If you've seen it or haven't seen it, it's something to behold. And anybody that's a knower and want to go watch Dark City and 13th Floor. Detachment 2, that's a little bit more. That would be more revelatory towards me because it's more about the state of the world. This one has state of the world aspects, but it's the deeper truth of Dark City and also the 13th Floor. And notice it's the 13th repentances of Sophia. I said I was going to do something. I did not share that one. Let me share, if I can, something else that I was going to share with y'all. And let me share it. One of my poems. Because I have some poems. Quite a bit, actually. I know I don't remember exactly ones I said from the beginning. I think I know I think I shared two, I remember. Let me share this one. And when I share this one, I'm going to have to go back in the system to I will add it. Okay. I will add this, and we'll close with this. Why didn't it go? Okay. This is something that I wanted to share with you. This is one of my, The Hermit Verdict. One of my poems. I have written close to 25 already in the last few months. With the help of just being authentic, coming from the spaces like I'm doing now, with the teaching, just the experience knowing, the revealing and the experience knowing is the next level. Here it is. Isolation. Remember, the hermit's the isolated one. The hermit is also a card, right? They call it that when they fear their own depth. People call it isolation. They call it that when they fear their own depth. They said, I like to be alone. They were wrong. I was not withdrawing. I was entering. Silence is not emptiness. It is exposure. When the noise falls away, there's no one left to blame. No system, no shadow outside you. Only the mirror. At first, it's unbearable. You meet the parts. You keep hidden in motion. The hunger, the pride, the fracture. You think you are alone until you realize you're face to face with everything. Isolation is the furnace where false selves burn. You walk in by yourself and discover a multitude. Wow. It hit me because there was something said that went with something I was thinking about. It reminded me of something I just had said earlier. Meet the hidden parts. I seen that. There's something I wanted to share because I seen something I was going to say it then, but I didn't want to skip. I'm not withdrawing. Silence is an emptiness. It is exposure when the false. It's kind of like realizing there's a part that hit that. Knowing the self before the self. Meet the parts you kept hidden in motion, the hunger, the pride. You think you're alone until you realize you're face to face with everything. Isolation's a furnace where false selves burn. You walk in by yourself and discover the multitude. Very powerful. Very powerful. I hope you guys seen it. I know I shared it and it had to be there. So, lowercase D-Boy, WCU, Cash App. Daniel April, the D and the A are capital and the rest are lowercase. I would appreciate if you can help, and definitely would. You guys actually have a great day. We'll have some good stuff next. Still thinking what I want to do next because I have some things aligned.